Kiohomitakiape, Evracordovi, Machiape, Malacotentas Pueblo. My Thama is Joseph Conquilla Cordova. My Ener, my cause, Patricia Crow Cordova. I'm sixth generation from Chief Red Cloud. I'm the owner operator of AC and Associates. I'm a mother, daughter, community member. I'm a grandma, former fellow for Return to Heart Foundation. And today I'm your host for Warrior Women Wednesday. I'm so thankful that you can join us. This week for Warrior Women Wednesday, we're bringing back one of our most powerful conversations featuring Christine Sikowis Nobiss, a voice whose truth, courage, and grounding are exactly what we need in this moment. We're honoring a warrior woman whose words continue to ripple through our movement. Christine Sikowis Nobiss speaks with the kind of strength that wakes up the spirit, calling us into action, responsibility, and deep love for our people. As we lift up truthsgiving and push back against harmful narratives, we're lifting up an episode that calls us into truth-telling, healing, and reclamation. This conversation is a reminder that decolonization is not a trend. It's a daily practice and community commitment and pathway home. In a time when truth-telling and resistance are more vital than ever, her words remind us of the power of Indigenous women defending community, land, and future generations. Her message remains as urgent and energizing today as the moment she first spoke it. A call to protect our land, defend our people, and remember our responsibilities to one another and the next generation. Don't miss this conversation to awakening spirit, sharpening clarity, and strengthening our collective resolve around decolonization. Join us, reflect with us, and share this medicine with someone who needs it this week and today. Now here's Gina with this amazing conversation. Take it away, Gina.
Hi, Christine Sikowis. I am so happy you are here with us on Warrior Women Wednesday. This is a time that we get to, lift up and shine a spotlight on amazing warrior women across the nation who are just doing really good work. And one of the reasons that I asked you today is because several years ago, you came up with a campaign that's called Truthsgiving, and it just rung so true to my heart. Actually, almost anybody who hears about it knows that we need the truth. And that is critical for us moving forward and really addressing, the genocide that happened here in our country. We can't pretend it didn't happen. And as Indigenous people, we are still experiencing the ramifications, of colonization. But before, just as we get started and kick off, do you mind giving us an introduction of yourself?
Yes. Tansi, Mio Ponipitigisigao. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Sikowis Nobiss, and I'm Plains Cree Saulteaux, or Nehiya and Saulteaux of the George Gordon First Nation, which is in Saskatchewan. It's in the Qu'Appelle Valley and the Touchwood Hills, and we are Plains people that lived in a little woodland area. And I grew up in Winnipeg, not too far from there. I call Winnipeg like the resiest city in North America, or in Turtle Island. We have so many natives from so many different tribes, and Métis people there. It was a really, there was a lot of culture where I grew up when I was growing up, even though it was in a city. And I have been living in Iowa City now for 17 years. I came here to get my graduate degree, my master's degree in religious studies with a focus on Native American religion and culture, and a minor in a graduate minor in Native American studies. And I am the founder and executive director of Great Plains Action Society. We've been around now for 7 years, and we focus on climate and social justice issues across Iowa and eastern Nebraska, and kind of nationally as well. And we are 100% Indigenous led and run.
Awesome. Yeah, so glad to have you here today. Can you tell us the story of Truthsgiving and how that evolved?
Yes. So Truthsgiving started in my home. When I moved here, not that we didn't celebrate Thanksgiving in Canada, because we do. It's in October, I believe. But I was young and I didn't really think anything of it. And then, I didn't really do a lot of celebrating of Thanksgiving when I moved away from home between 18 and when I moved here. So I was, young when I moved here, and I started celebrating American Thanksgiving. Well, I wasn't really celebrating it. I just, the day we had the day, the time off, and I wanted to eat some turkey and indigenous foods, because frankly, that's what Thanksgiving is about. It's about eating indigenous foods and celebrating the harvest. And it's about saying thanks for like what you have. Unfortunately, attached to that is this horrific mythology about Puritans and Wampanoag, or indigenous peoples, sitting down together and breaking bread, and that just didn't happen. That's a complete lie. It's a fabrication, and it whitewashes the truth of what really did occur during those times. And so at home, about, I don't know, I'd say 15 years ago, I started to just say, well, let's just, we're gonna get together, but we're gonna celebrate Truthsgiving. And I would just make a joke about it. And we would have our dinner, and with friends, and if family was visiting, then yes. And that's what we did. And so one year, my good friend Dave Whiting, said, you should like have a public Truthsgiving event. He said, you should have an anti-Thanksgiving event. That's what he said. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And why not? And I didn't think I should call it Truthsgiving, because I didn't think it sounded radical enough for like the work of what we do as Great Plains Action Society, because we're obviously very anti this mythology. And I felt like maybe it was not strong enough. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that term and that way of looking at the event is actually fantastic, because what it does is it leaves room for people to still gather with their families and do the good parts of what Thanksgiving is, but then also like educate people on like the harms and the atrocities of what Thanksgiving is hiding. It helps to erase that mythology, and it gives people a chance to decolonize in a way. And so we went ahead and we had our first public Truthsgiving event, and I think that was 7 years ago now. And so it seems to be catching on in other places as well. I know last year, Seven Directions of Service, I think they're in North Carolina or South Carolina, they had an event. We've had events in Sioux City and Des Moines as well. And so now this year we're also having one in Marion. This is all in Iowa. And I just hope people continue to talk about it. I think last year as well, there was even like a famous TikToker who put it out there. And there was a run called the Truthsgiving Run. And then even some folks in Canada picked up on it. So, I really hope it catches on, just because like it's so hard to be Native sometimes. Like it's so hard to be for everything to be so political. And it's like, why can't we also enjoy the harvest, and our indigenous foods and our first foods, and not feel guilty about it, and then also have white people or non-Native people educated about this topic at the same time. And if you want to find out more information on it, you can go to truthsgiving.org.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, in my family, I have never done an event, but in our family, we talk about it, it's as being, let's do Truthsgiving instead of Thanksgiving. So again, we're not going to miss the turkey. My great grandparents were turkey farmers, so we're not going to miss a turkey. We're going to eat turkey, but let's just talk about the truth. Let's not, let's have some deep, loving conversation and healing, even around our own, Indigenous table.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. And so what would you say to folks, like me or any other folks who are out there who either may want to try to do an event or who just want to have some advice to have those conversations around their tables?
Well, yeah, again, we do have a website with lots of resources on it, and it's at truthsgiving.org. There is a zine you can download and you can distribute. Part of Truthsgiving is taking the pledge. That's not necessarily for Indigenous peoples, but that's for non-Indigenous people so that they can teach people better, or teach their family about like what Truthsgiving is, about what Thanksgiving should not be, essentially, right? And get away from these horrific stereotypes that still exist. The little pilgrims and the little, Indians and the tomahawks and the teepees and all that, which is not okay. And another big part about Truthsgiving that we talk about a lot is mutual aid, or like working together, working for the community, working for those that don't have their needs met, basic needs met. So for quite a few years we've done mutual aid outreach as well as part of like our Truthsgiving work. And that's really important.
Well, thank you so, so much for sharing this, and then the resource and the website that folks can go to learn more. I think a lot of times Native people have that conflict, in theory, we do not necessarily support, what Thanksgiving has been representative, but we always get together and we always eat and we always are looking to, just have a special time to love on one another and to get to eat our traditional foods even better. So love
Yes.
Truthsgiving. Thank you for being here and sharing on a wider level.
You're welcome, and Aihai Kitata Mahin for having me here.
As we close out this week's Warrior Women Wednesday, I invite you to carry Christine's words with you. Let them sit with you, guide you, and remind you that every act of truth, every moment of courage, and every step towards healing is a part of our collective resistance. May this conversation fill your spirit with clarity and purpose. May it remind you that our ancestors walk with strength so we could walk with intention. And may it inspire you to keep choosing community, land, and future generations in all that you do. Thank you for sharing space with us today. Thank you for listening with an open heart. And thank you for continuing to work in your own homes and in your own circles. Until next time, keep your spirits steady, keep your voices strong, and keep walking in truth. Wopila and Ta'a relatives, be well. Until next time.